Hello everyone. I'm Patrick Collins, and as if you have tuned in for the first time, I make tech contents about things that I love and stacks that I use. Yeah, generally just tech contents in general. And last week, last 2 weeks, last week's actually, Nextjs rolled out something that is very fantastic. Their new Nextjs 16, and the Nextjs 16 came in built with a lot of things like turbo pack being enabled by default. Turbo pack being enabled by default. We have use cache tag, and a lot of other APIs that were added to the list. So it's something that is very amazing and spectacular to say the least. Because if you are someone that is like, or if you build software, you know anything about software, you know that caching is something that is very important with anything in general. Because take for example now that you have this chunk of data now, so, and you know it doesn't change often, it doesn't change every time, so there's basically no need for you to keep on querying this same thing and over again, making calls. So at some point you see that it's expensive, considering that it doesn't change that often. So you querying something every time for something that doesn't change, so just have that quantity of stuff cached, so it can just be cached for a later time. Yeah, so that's something that is good about caching. And for the very fact that Nextjs they were able to make this caching like one of the default things, like I basically used it to build two applications side by side. So one for the God. It's way too much to talk about now, so let's just dive in. I'm super pumped to talk about it, but let's dive in. So one of the things that I like about this okay. God. Nextjs is too good. I don't know what to talk about. So God, you don't spoil on first.
I was like, you can be pausing it and continue.
So like I was saying, if you know anything about caching is very important in our every day-to-day application, and most applications we build, we use caching for it a lot. Because firstly, if the data doesn't change every time, there's no need for you to keep on querying. See that this kind of things is somewhat inconsistent. Take for example now your user information. So for instance, if the user should be logged in, say user is logged in, you don't need to be checking every time, except if you say something like you're building an application where like the user starts tends to change often. But aside from that, if the user start doesn't change like every time, you can just cache the user's session. Like you can have the user session cached. It will even save you a lot. Like sort of querying, checking every time for whether the user is logged in or not. You can just cache that. So that's how good caching is. And like for like okay, let me just break it down for you so you can see exactly understand how this works. So I built the two applications. So the first one is, like I said, built with Nextjs 15. So I gave it to some of my friends. So yeah, I'll still come. There are good sides to it, and then there are bad sides to everything. Yeah, everything greatly depends on what you want, what you are building for, and what you are building on. So, but nonetheless, the very fact that everything is cached on the server, when it reaches your device, though it's not determined that it will come out well, and I'll still explain this later. But for the major devices, everything is coming from the server. So once you just query is finished, everything just gets flooded into your device. So it will give this fast and quick response. So if the user should like load the website, so upon that first loading, instead of them see like say loading screen or something like that, the data is already cached previously. everything just shoots out to the user. Yeah, so that's one of the benefits of caching, and caching on the server, because there have always been caching, but this what Nextjs is doing separately now is that they're caching those things on the server. So once you're querying everything, you don't need to query. You don't like everything is sent from the server directly to you. So it's not that some things will get rendered and after you have to go and query for back for more of those things. So yeah, that being said, so the thing why again I think this is bad, or not bad in this case, but why I think is not optimal for every case, is that if the content gets fired down to the user, um the it doesn't necessarily mean that interactivity will be enabled, like will come instantly. So take for instance, so this is the part that we dive into the future callings here. Well, this is just to say that I actually forgot to explain the things I used to test. So the first application, well, both applications are obviously the same, but the major difference is that why the first is built using Nextjs 15, the other is built using Nextjs 16, the new Nextjs 16 that just rolled out. So, but the part I forgot to disclaim is that, well, the application and the structure is not something that is practical. And I just did it to mimic um an actual application and things that you need it for, or parts that might possibly need this kind of things, just to test out things. Yeah, and then it's just regular things that the data is coming out here. So simple application that you can, what the product is for adding data, then the dashboard, a simple dashboard that we can use to be to view the data that we have. And then the API demo is the part that I can use to query something external and also catch that as well. So just a disclaimer, and yeah, can continue. I'll leave this back to my past self. My past self, so I will continue video. So peace. I'm going to open up Nextjs 15 first. Then after that, then we'll now move on to Nextjs 16, so you can see clearly the two different things. So I'm going to be opening first of all on the local host. Then I'll now move to the one that I've already deployed on vercel. So yeah, now let's look at Nextjs 15 for this. So yeah, like I was saying, this particular version, this Nextjs 15, you can see that it had to load the page, like this particular area of the dashboard. Yeah, and let's moving on to the products. You can see that small little time frame the loading page should, and then same with this API demo for something else. We'll come back to this later. So yeah, then now I'm going to show you that for the Nextjs 16 server error. Why am I getting a server error? Yeah, this particular error now, I've had it before, and I honestly did not know the cause of the error. Even up to now, I still don't know the cause of the error. So I'm just going to report the issue to GitHub again. But for the last time I got this particular issue, how I solved it was by closing the dev server and then starting it again. I don't know why that should be the case, but immediately I did it, it worked. It started working. So I guess if you should have that kind of error, just do that. It's going to resolve it. Let me see. yeah, let me just put it. Um, well, let's see. Closing the server and restarting it again. Yeah, there we go. So you can see immediately how we just fired. So the contents here, every single thing is being cached. Yeah, everything here is cached. So even the products moving from one page to the other product page also cached as well. Moving from the products to the API demo page similarly also cached. So the way it's being fetched also is pretty fast. Like it happens almost instantly. Like mind you, I'm moving from page to page. I'm not just I'm not I'm this is not like tabs. All these things are like page full on pages being loaded this quickly. So yeah, it's actually something that is very nice. It is very nice to know that Nextjs added this. And actually love this feature. I'm going to be using it a lot from now. So is essentially every it's not that there were no server components before now. This every even next this Nextjs 15 application, every single thing here is on the server. Yeah, so I'm also building this in our server components, but the data themselves they are not being cached. They're not being cached on the server. So the contents are being cached, but the page is being cached, but it's not cached on the server. So more complicated. But this Nextjs 16 for you, as you can see, if you see where things are just loading. But where although many people have this thing load similarly, if they are, let me say they are using a good better network, and I had to reduce the speed of the internet here, like the throttling, so that at least I could, let me say, get the how the how low things will happen if I wasn't like using, let me say, good network or something like that. So, and for the very fact that all this thing has been on 3G all this while and still loads this quickly is nice. It's nice to see this. But everything still depends on how fast the server, the client would tend to render things. And we'll see that in the test that I will do after this one. So yeah. Um so yeah, on the part of Nextjs 15, you can see here that let's move on to this API demo I talked about. So see the time here for the fetching of the first one. So the time here for 9 milliseconds. So here I'm using fetch plus use callback. So the fetch plus like fetch with them I'm caching. Then this use callback is for optimizing the function that returns this fetch. Then I use force cache. Yeah, force cache, and then with the invalidate option set to reinvalidate under 3 3 3600 milliseconds. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 3600 milliseconds. So, and you can see the second time it reduces again. So 12 milliseconds is also cached as well. 6 milliseconds, 8 milliseconds, 10 11 milliseconds. So again, this thing shows the fact that it's variable based on certain things that are like no longer like in your control or something like that. So the client also is also part of why this thing like should vary. So the time that your own device will tend to render a lot of things also participates in giving out this time. So yeah, and also in the Nextjs 16 part, you can see here first time fetching. So let me validate again. You see the client time here. See the client time here. The server time is very quick, but yeah. So server time slower, but client time still 18 milliseconds. We're not able to get to to how low this one is. And honestly, I don't even know why this is the case. I've tried my everything possible. I don't know why. So here I'm using use cache. Yeah, use cache for the contents here. Then use effect events. Yeah, for optimizing the performance of the function that queries this data. So I'm making use of use effect events so it doesn't cause renders on parts of things that don't need um um dependency arrays. There's things that need to be put in dependency arrays. So yeah, and the client time still seems to be high. I don't know. I need someone to help me out with this. I've tried everything possible to get it lower, but still high. And the very fact that this client time is high is somehow confusing to me, because I've tried every single thing. I even give some of my friends to test it out. Still, the I couldn't get this to come down. I don't know what else to do. I genuinely don't know what else to do. So, but aside from that, every other thing works. And yeah, one cool thing that happens when I add a product, so I'm going to use something that's been used before. Blah 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 blah. Come here, put in say $400. Then I'm creating the product now. Now, what happens each time I create a product is that I'm invalidating the cache. Yeah, we'll look at that in a second. So I'm invalidating the cache, meaning that the the advantage that we get from caching everything still doesn't get loose, because if I don't invalidate that, the dashboard will still be stuck in the previous value, previous whatever. So it needs to be invalidated each time I create a product, and it will still be stored on the server. Yeah, it will still be stored properly as it's supposed to be stored, like after invalidating to cache itself, and then still get stored. So again, you can see increase from 19 to 20, and then gets the time for the last update. Very nice. So for this project, um let's also do the same thing on the Nextjs 15 application. And here we are adding a new product. I'll use let me use let me something else. Still put some stupid crazy words, and here also $600. And here again, you see, create the stuff, $600. We have it here, and yeah, essentially it requires everything. Both of them are using the same data from the same database, so that's why things are that way. Yeah, as you can see, due to nothing was invalidated here, that's why we still have 20 and here. So for me to get this, see another problem. So for me to have this now to increase, I have to essentially restart my server. So I have to close it and restart it again, so that the cache will be refreshed. Yeah, because it wasn't added in the application. So if I should refresh this thing, it's still stuck in the old cache. Yeah, it's another potential problem. So if, like I said, caching should be used for products that you know that they don't change at random. So they change because you know when they will change, so you know when to invalidate. Very, very important, very, very necessary. Yeah, because imagine this is a real application, you just see here 121, the other one 20, 17, 16. That is very, very wrong. Very, 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 very wrong. So take note of that. Then how is caching done? Let's move on to this first page. This page. Yeah. So like I said, server components all the way, and so I'll move on to the main.tsx where our code lies. So as you can see here, I'm making use of suspense. So suspense for this part. Sorry, wrong page.tsx. Page.tsx, that's what that mean. Yeah, so this is place. So like, yeah, same thing, suspense. So the what suspense is doing here essentially is this dashboard skeleton. This is the main place where the rest of the application is. So if the data here, or if things here, because this thing is essentially, yeah, with the data. So if the contents here aren't available, you, in fact, why am I even explaining things? Most of you know already know what suspense is used for. So if not available, put the dashboard skeleton there. But so we expect this to be cached, so it's still going to appear very, very quickly. So here we are waiting the stats. So get dashboard start cache. Let's look into this function. And here, as you can see, I'm making use of the use cache directly. Then here, this cache tag is in this particular place now that you get to define the name you want to give this tag. So essentially, where this will help is where I want to invalidate this particular tag. So any for let me say if I want to create a new product, I want to create a new whatever, and that is essentially going to, it would make this starts here to change. Whatever starts here, like, if they should make it to change, then I would have to call this tag that I'm giving here, in order for the whole stats over here to be invalidated. So it's something that is very, very simple and straightforward, and very, very easy to do. Yeah, so I'll show you a bit where I used it in a second. So then this is essentially calling convex query. The API gets the stats. So function basics, simple queries here, where I get all the products from the querying the products table, gets all of them, total the length. Yeah, essentially very, very simple to do. So let's move on to the next thing. So yeah, like I said, now, okay, yeah, so I'm passing the stats into this dashboard stats. Yeah, so the contents get received here, and essentially does the rest of the stuff. So get the total number, the active number, the inactive number, the last, and then this for the last updated. Yeah, now let's check where this is being validated, like the data here. So notice with, I think I have to increase it. It's very difficult to see most people. So let's move on to this now. So here now you can see that I have a main.tsx, and I have a data.tsx. So let's move on to this data stats section. So here, so I'm getting this dashboards starts cached from this data.tsx. So why I made this function essentially is because use cache works on the server, so it works only on the server, and is, yeah, it doesn't work on clients. It must work under the server side function. So yeah, that's why I'm using use cache here, and I put it in a data so I can get everything. Then yeah, that being said, one particular place that can make the this cache to change is if I'm producing a new product, and when you get the new product from the product/new page, and yeah, product/new. So again, we have page.tsx. I have the main.tsx. I like dividing this way so that I still maintain this use of server side components and whatnot. So then yeah, same thing, cached suspense. So good. I don't think this is performance. Okay, yes, actually performance calling the function directly. Yeah. So one mutation. So here is the mutation for creating the product, one for updating the product, and one for toggling the status. So this toggle status is sorry. Not myself, I can't see this thing. Uh okay. So these are essentially the functions for creating the posts. Let's see where this is being used.
Are you talking to me?
Oh gosh, shut up now, guy now. Okay. So in this particular component, I'm using two places, but we'll get to that in a second. So what I'm essentially doing here is where I want to create a product, because like I said, this particular component, I'm using it for um for a place where I want to create a product, another place where I want to update the product, another place where I want to toggle the status of a product. So I'm using it variably. Yeah. So now we're looking for the one like things that update the stats. So yeah, like I said, so I want to invalidate the product data. So this is the function I'll call, and I made this function so that to accept a product ID, but is like again variable because it depends on what and where I want to make use of it. So um so yeah, here you see me calling the stats, the lists, and the detail. So again, I'll show you where these were set, these cache tags were set, but what we are looking for now is this product stats. So it's being called here, and let's look at where I'm going to be using where I made use of this function. So see 1 2 so here now is when you are submitting. So the first time when I'm submitting, when a new product is being created, so you can see creating a product using the function create product, then passes in the necessary things for the product to be created. So the name, description, price, image URL, category, and status. Obviously everything is going to be active from the initial start. So here, over here, the product data is created. It's created, and the created ID is passed to it. Let's take a look at this. So yeah, so yeah, it doesn't really matter at this point whether it's being passed or not, because it depends on whether this comes out right or not. But either ways, the cache gets invalidated. Yeah. So and once this is validated, um yeah, okay, I'm passing this tag. I'm passing all the tags here, and these tags, I created an API for this shit. I forgot. So essentially, okay, let me just give you a rundown. This component now is I built it so that I can use it for variable cases. So in case where like it's rendered here now, so I want to use it and create a product. So the form is a product form. So I want to create a product. I can use it for that. I want to update the product. I can use it for that. I want to take to the status of a product. I could also use it for that. Now for this revalidate product data, I wanted to do it in such a way, because like I said also, most of all this caching stuff, they must be done on the server. So and I can't put it here because you can see it's using making use of use clients. and in the place where you use client functions, I can't call server side functions. So one way I used to solve this was by creating an API. I made my own API. So um, again, this is test, so I don't really think most anybody will be doing it this way, but it did worked in my case. So made an API and let's see what this API is doing. So essentially, what the API is doing is that it collects the payload, so the profile. What this profile is used for is um, it's, fuck, I don't even everything the profile is yourself. Okay, yeah, the profile is a way to make a cache profile. Let's see. Let this thing the documentation. I've even forgotten why I used it before. Because I made the code over like a week ago. Um, use cache. Yeah. And so in case if you get confused also, you could also visit Nextjs documentation. Is very, very clear, straightforward. Could get anything I want from there. Um, let's see. Hmm. Shoot out. There's something very, very important that I actually forgot in all of this. And oh God, that's where I find it. Mm, no, it's not here. I think this should even be the old API. Square one. Let's see. Hmm. Mm, mm. And if you get confused in life, just ask ChatGPT. Because so I know I've seen this in documentation, but for some reason I couldn't find what the profile is used for. Exactly, exactly. So yeah, yeah. Exactly. This is exactly what it's used for. It's an argument. Passing to the invalidate tag. Sure. Yeah. So what was I fine? Move on to here. So like I was saying, so here it gets the body, which is where am I? This is something. The body, which is whatever tag we want to, whatever whatever tag we want to validate. So um if exactly, it was packed in a set, so going to I'm not here, I'm essentially separating the sets, um dividing them. So yeah, so now that the full cache tag is gotten, so each of those tags, now I'm going to invalidate them here. So using this invalidate tag and then passing the profile. So this profile now, as you can see from here, is is a string that specifies the invalidation behavior. The recommended value is max. I don't know if there's much, if there's more to the max, like maybe say one is max, the other one is this, the other one is that. I don't know, but max. Even here, I'm using max too. Whatever the profile should be, otherwise just default to max. Yeah, and so essentially this is part that invalidates the entire the entire whatever tag should be passed there. So in this particular case, passing the stats, the list, and then the detail. So now let's move on to where this was used. Let's see. So yeah, product list was used in the product. So these products here, which is the list. So when you update something, or you update the list or anything of like that, so exactly everything here gets invalidated also. And same goes for the product detail. Let's check where that was used. And so yeah, as you can see, invalidates the product also, like caches the product. So this is also used. So that's generally the same thing everywhere, and you can do this. Like I see this thing being widespread and general, like anybody can do this. And and Nextjs, they did it and made it so simple that anytime you want to use it, you can just make use of it. Like I really love Nextjs for this, because if you should do this on your own, my brother, you go here when you go here when because doing a lot of all these things that Nextjs offers by yourself is somehow difficult to do. That's why if you just come outside, I go just use them ASAP, like no stress. Don't like stress. So yeah, pretty much that simple. It's really that easy, and I don't know any other thing again that will be better than this. Next year is coming. So, but yeah, you can. I think you should do this, because Yeah, it's like even I myself, as I'm looking at this thing, for the very fact that see, you just see how I'm moving seamlessly and things are just flowing. Yeah, and let's see something here. So, and you can see the products, they have become normal as well. Why? Because I've created a new product, and then the whole cache got invalidated. So now let's test it still on deployment. So let's see. So exactly, that's same issue. You can see that the caching here is not invalidated because we did it on this on the dev server, and the clients the server online on vercel has not been updated yet. So you can see how these kind of changes can affect the development and the production. So we need to this is something that we have to be taking note of, and it won't necessarily be a problem if in a real production grade app, considering that um the database you be calling will be different. Like the database setup will be different because what you use on your development will not be the same you use on your prod. So exactly, so won't be a problem, but it is a problem. So everything just greatly depends on where you want to where you are making use of it. Yes, where you are making use of it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not good. It's just your application. Like yeah, what you're applying it on. So if I should create a new product, everything here gets validated. Wow, are you kidding me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, it did not run. It did not run. Why did it not run? Oh, wow. Yeah. Hmm. I think at this point, this one is probably convex. I don't even know why this is train error this time. Let's find out. Um, oh, this is a problem. Check my vercel logs. Yeah, and this thing is detecting that stuffs were changed. But Nextjs 16 still some string clashes. Usually a problem. Very big problem if you come to think of it. Okay, it's only now that the cache got invalidated. Changing from 19 to 21. So let me refresh again. So again the refreshing. Give me the refresh. So I don't think this is made automatic yet. So let's see. Or maybe it could also be network inefficiencies and stuff because you can see now it's not being invalidated for some reason. Could be a potentially big problem moving forward. Still not changing. Signs updating. So again, caching. See data that actually changes. So cache what doesn't change often. But this is just to test and show you what I mean. So yeah, this it works. So you can cache everything still, and network latency will still mess you up big time, big time. So yeah, if very big problem. See, not updating yet. 26, 25. Eventually updates. So not efficient for everything, but for the most part, cache what it needs to be cached. Then don't cache what doesn't need to be cached. Very important piece of advice. Don't cache everything. Cache data that doesn't change often. Yeah. And if you watch the Nextjs demo, the release, let me find the video. YouTube. So if you should watch this their preview on Nextjs, you can also see where it's clearly said that even the data that they cached here was the data that doesn't change often. It's not like a general, like a data that changes often, like this product. Now this product is something that will change every time. So sometimes the invalidation that you want to do would not work because of, again, network latency. So that's why you are seeing those inconsistencies. So um so I think I'll leave the video in the link to the video in the description. It's a 7 hours video. I really think you should watch it. Something that is very nice to watch. Just watch it. You learn a lot. And I've been Collins. See you on the next one. Okay. Oh, skip that Collins. Let's see. Where is she? It's a woman that talked about it. She really did a good job explaining the whole thing. See. Anyways. Yeah. So this was our part. And
also, and Aurora.
so Aura
Web developer
Sharaf
Aurora Sharf.
Craft Aura Craft. So watch her parts. You learn a lot. Like you stand to learn a lot watching what, because she broke this thing down
Okay,
to
hello
the
everyone.
bare minimum. So yeah, and I think that's that for now. You can see the fact that things get served on to your users quickly, and the page movement is also quick and snappy. So it's something that is nice, also fascinating about Nextjs 16. And it's something that is new. With this, caching is not new, but the way it's being implemented is actually very new. So it's something that will evolve with time. Maybe some point they will even fix our network. Because like most of my friends that I give to try this thing, I also had them test their network speeds, and the result is everly fascinating. It's so wide. Like even I myself, I can't even believe that. Like if I want to load this thing on the laptop now or a phone, boom, just fires out. Like the speed of coming out is even something like shocking. So for that, I'm fascinated to say the least. So yeah, very nice, very nice piece of work done by the Nextjs team at vercel. And yeah, we hope to we want to see more. We want to see more. Yeah, it's very nice actually, and I'm going to be using this thing a lot. I'm going to deal with Nextjs this time. So there are a lot of things also that have been released, also like use workflow. So you go try that one out yourself. Use workflow. So essentially, what this use workflow does is that it helps in automating tasks. Vercel doesn't have this before. Whatever I will explain for you now, I will not explain it as good as Theo has explained it. Yeah, so like if you have used trigger or turn over this automating this thing, so it has not been on vercel according to where Theo explained. It has not been on vercel because of lambda. So if you use lambda before, oh sorry, vercel is built on lambda. So lambda works in a certain way that request going through lambda is being timed. So before you can create a task that will run for say a day, and then let me say run today and then run tomorrow till next week. So, and we cannot keep your function waiting running that particular line till that next week. So that's where this workflow comes with the steps you set. Just makes everything seamless. So you can start writing your trigger functions, whatever trigger like functions in with use workflow. So I also leave the link for this in the description below. So yeah, it's very everything is very nice with the vercel team lately. Like this in their next conf 25, it was very massive. I did not go, but I streamed everything online. I even went as far to even watch it like 3 more times on YouTube so that I can fully understand everything that is there. And yeah, it's fascinating. I will not lie. And yeah, there's more to come. That's all I can say for now. So peace and love. Cheers.
He actually moves very fast. He didn't too fast.